thought I'd record a knit and natter because no one is here but me and the dogs. So it is Sunday, what day? Sunday the 28th, I believe. Let me check. Yes, the 28th. It's at 4:16 right now. So the sun is starting to go down. Oh, my dog has joined me. Yeah. He actually wants to sit on my legs. Hang on. All right, this is BobbleHeadKnits, in case you're wondering, the knit and natter. It's the second time I've done this. Hang on, I'm gonna move you a little closer. There. Someone after the last one said, well, let me talk a little bit more what this is. It's a knit and natter. I'm just gonna be knitting and talking to you for probably the next hour, maybe a little less, we'll see. Like, as I said, everyone is gone, yay. They went to our nephew's baby shower. It's rare that I'm actually home with no one in the house but me, so I am taking advantage of it. So what I am knitting on right now is my incredible blanket. I will show you. I'm in the middle of a row, but there it is. I decided that I was going to try a week of monogamous knitting, in that every day I would just pick one project and that would be the only thing I knit on all day. So today has been this. These are really long rows. So I'm on my third color of the day. I do 2 rows per color. It takes a long time to get through a row. So yeah, I mean, the good thing about this is I can see the progress. So, you know, it's not like it's not there. So someone in my last knit and natter had suggested that I angled the camera down so that you could see what I was knitting on more. Instead of angling it down at my menopausal belly, I'm just gonna occasionally hold it up so you can see, because yeah, that was it was a good idea, but not really a becoming angle on someone of my age. So what is going on? Yesterday, well, this will probably go up not this week but the week after. My dog is adjusting, sorry. Okay, sit down, dog. Thank you. I should have sent him to the shower also. This won't go up this week. It'll go up probably the week after. So yesterday I recorded my weekly vlog, and then later this week I'm going to record the state of the stash for January to tell you where I am in that fun journey, how much yarn I've used, all that. So this will go up a week from Wednesday, most likely. So not for a couple weeks, but I thought I'd take advantage of no one being here and just go ahead and record it. So, what was I saying? Oh, I totally forgot. I recorded my whole vlog yesterday and forgot to mention one of the big life things going on this week is that we will be babysitting our grandson Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. So my vlog schedule is going to be totally out of whack because of that, but it's fine. You'll still see me, just not necessarily doing what I do when I normally do it. So, all right, hang on. Let me have a quick sip of juice here. If you hear snoring, it's because the dog is right here sitting in my lap snoring. Can't get away from him. He actually got a bath today. we have a doggy spa in our building. We live in a high rise, and they have a really nice spa for dogs because everyone has dogs. So we took advantage of the nice day and gave him a bath, and he is looking pretty clean, so that's good. He was overdue for a bath. He was supposed to have one in December, but he had those neck issues, so I didn't want to upset him, so he did not have his bath. I am wearing a light. Sorry if that's bothering you. I usually use the big light. I have a big craft light that I use at night. If you're interested in knowing what it is, I will post a link if you want. But it's an excellent light. It's meant for an anesthetist. You know, the people that like pluck your eyebrows and things. But I bought this for a craft light. It was not cheap, but it was well worth every dime. It works so well that I actually bought my mother-in-law one because she has, I can't remember, is it degenerative glaucoma? Sounds right. My husband has it too, but she has it much worse. And she needed a really strong light at night to read. So she really likes the light too. So if you want to know which one it is, let me know and I will send you a link. So, I think most of you know about this incredible blanket. So this is well, I'm just going to tell you again because I'm sure some of you didn't watch my regular vlog. So this is a free pattern from Pearl Soho, and I bought the kit that they had, which had 1,000 grams of mini Pearl Soho skeins. At the end of last year, actually it was before the end of last year, it was probably like November or so, with the intent of knitting this blanket. So I started it late last year, had to rip it out once, but now I'm on a roll. And my goal is to finish it by next December. I was originally just doing a color a day, but I think doing it this way, I will get more colors in, just get more knitting overall by being a monogamous knitter for each day. I think I'll get more knitting done overall on all my projects. So we'll see. This is just day one. So with this yarn, what you do, well, you can follow their pattern, their color pattern exactly, like they list out the colors and which way they use them, or you can put the yarn into two separate bags, one for warm colors and the other for cool colors, and they designate which is warm and cool, so you don't have to, you know, figure it out yourself. But you put them in two separate bags, and then you blindly, like, just draw a random ball for each 2 rows, and you alternate between warm and cold. And if you don't like the color that comes up, if you think the color that came up with the previous color, if they don't work or whatever, of course you can throw it back in. I have not had too many times that I've had to throw it in. The color variety is such that this has really been a good way to do it, and it's fun. I've really enjoyed it. I have mentioned this numerous times, but this is very kind of meditative, therapeutic knitting, 4-row pattern repeat. You change colors after each two rows. So, and you weave in the ends as you go, because of course there's a lot of ends and you don't want to be stuck at the end doing them. So I know some knitters will still wait and weave them in at the end, but I'm just weaving them in as I go. So I don't know if linen quill. It's linen and wool. Can't remember what else is in it. Not positive. But it's really a nice yarn. It feels good and it works up beautifully. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I thought about, you know, noting the colors I really liked. And then if I'm in search of new yarn, not this year, but if I decide, oh, I want to color this color, you know, sweater or something, looking to get regular full skeins of it. So, but I don't need it this year, as we know. So, you don't have the best view there, do you? Here's my couch. Oh, there. It's my patio, my outdoor couch. And my husband has our umbrella right there because he likes to sit out. Even in the winter, he'll sit outside because it's nice enough here in Denver where we live most of the time. So, but the sun hits directly on this side. So he put it's not a full barrette umbrella, it's a partial umbrella, and it's little, it's really cute. And he kind of moves it around the patio depending on where the sun is. So it's not a humongous patio. This one isn't, but it's perfect for just kind of a little added space. So it really was perfect when we had the lockdown for the pandemic because my husband was like home. He had been, you know, up until 2 years ago, he was working full time out of the home. And my daughter, who was in college, suddenly was sent home from college to do online school. And that patio was really nice to have to get away from people. So yeah, it was nice. You can also see that orange bucket. I guess it's right there. My husband he makes compost. We have this little machine that's under our sink that he puts like food waste into, and he can make compost out of it rather than it going into a landfill. And then he puts it from that machine into that orange bucket, and then he usually, well, he's either been taking it to his sister or our son's house because they have bigger composters, and they have, well, my sister-in-law has a garden, so he'll just take it over there because we don't really have any use for it. He did try to dump it like discreetly. We live in downtown Denver. He tried to dump it in like a planter out down on the street, and it was just enough of like still a food like the dogs could tell there was food in it. So our dog, one of our dogs, kept trying to go and eat the compost. So he was like, I'm not doing that again, or at least not doing it where our dogs go. So yeah, so it's better. He also, that was like the very first time he had done it, and he hadn't made like the right, like he was still learning how to make the compost. So it's much better now. So he could probably get away with it now. Let's just say that. But yeah, I think it's better that it's going to people that will actually use it. And, you know, it's going into my sister-in-law's garden, and hopefully soon my son and his wife will have a garden. They didn't, of course, this summer because, well, the first summer they were there in their house, they didn't, because they were having all this work done on their plumbing that included tearing up part of their yard. And so they didn't want to hassle with the garden. Then last summer, she had just had a baby, so she was not interested in it. My son has no time to do it. But my daughter-in-law really wants a garden, but she just is too busy. So, I mean, she was with the baby. She still is. But maybe this summer, I was going to suggest to my husband likes to garden, that, you know, he'd go over there and help do some little garden things around just to get the ball rolling. So, what else? We did go over yesterday. If you watched the vlog I posted yesterday, so the January 27th, you know, I went over, my husband and I, to watch our grandson, because our son had, the other day, like on Thursday, he and his assistant, he's a lawyer, and his assistant is a guy, and they were carrying a desk down some stairs, kind of moving furniture around in their office. And the desk, I guess it fell apart and like fell on him, on my son. So he had this big gash on his finger, and then his foot, it was all black and blue. And so he finally went yesterday to urgent care, and they said they're pretty sure that the big toe is broken. So they've put him in a boot, a post-op surgical boot. I've worn one of those once for some foot issues I was having, and it's really like, it's like walking a plank of hardwood. There's no arch support or anything. So, but it gives your foot kind of room if it's swollen, or, you know, all that stuff. So he is using that. He has to go back tomorrow to get an actual real x-ray, because they didn't have an x-ray tech. But based on just looking at it, they're pretty sure that it was fractured. So he is gonna do that. Unfortunately though, they are going to New York City later this week, and part of the fun of New York City is to walk around all the different neighborhoods and check things out. So he's pretty bummed that he has this boot thing on his foot, but I think he'll still be able to walk around. It just will be a little not as comfortable. So, but yeah, that was his big news. He took us out to lunch afterwards, after his appointment. We had ramen. We love ramen. And yesterday was a good day for it. Just felt like we hadn't had it in a long time. So I can't remember the name of the ramen place. It's not too far from us. In fact, we could walk to it. I really should get the name of it, but yeah, it was good. It was only the second time we've been to that particular one, and it will be our preferred ramen place in our neighborhood. So there are a few that we can walk to, but that one seems, of all of them that we've been to so far, it's the best. So I hope I'm not blinding you all. Actually, I'm gonna just turn that one off, because I don't think you can see the other one. So, what else is going on? Oh, so I gave my son his Oslo hat. I finally finished the Oslo hat that fits him, and he loved it. He said it's his very favorite hat. He immediately asked if I would make a really bright yellow one, and I was like, well, I don't have any yarn, and I can't buy any yarn, so if you want to buy some yarn, here's some choices. So I sent him the Hedgehog Fibers page again, because I really like their colors. He then talked himself out of needing it immediately, and he said, maybe for Christmas. And I was like, yeah, we'll see. So, but the reality is I will do it for Christmas. That's still a year away. So yeah, I'll knit it for Christmas. And I'm going to put the list. I don't know if you watch Saturday, you know about this, but my husband and I have this deal that if I make it till my birthday in March without buying any yarn, then for my birthday gift, I get to buy a sweater's quantity worth of yarn. And so that doesn't necessarily mean it has to all be for the same sweater. So I'm gonna get individual, or mostly individual skeins. So I really only need 4 or 5 skeins of yarn for most sweaters. I don't really need a sweater's quantity of yarn anymore though, but I'm pretty sure that by the time I, you know, take into consideration all the extra inches that I'm gaining by eating cookies and things like that because I'm hibernating this winter, I'll probably need more like 6 skeins of yarn. That's what I plan. So I'm gonna add some hedgehog fiber in yellow, I don't know which one yet, to my list of the yarn that I'm going to buy in March, because I am gonna hit that goal. I'm just determined to do it. So yeah, I'm gonna just get 1 skein of it and we'll knit it for Christmas for him. And then the other skeins, well, right now the only other one that I really want is some Noro Ito matching skein to go with, or matching ball of it. I don't know what you call those. They're those huge giant balls that they put out. I already have one and I want another one in the same colorway, and so I can knit something with it. I think one of the patterns that I recently favored that's why it came up, because I was like, oh, I can use that for a Nora, or for that project. But we'll see. I also have, I've fallen in love with Andrea Mowry. Like, I didn't really watch her vlogs before, and then I started watching them recently, and I just really am loving her vlogs. And she was wearing a, it was her weekender cowl. I think that's it. No, the traveler cowl, because she had, you know, just come out with the traveler shawl, which I don't want to knit any more shawls. But cowls are okay. I will knit those. So she was wearing it and I just was like, oh, I love that pattern. I want to knit that. So I did get the pattern. So I have the pattern and I need to just figure out what's in my stash that I can knit with it. And she's made the pattern so that gauge doesn't really matter and you can just use whatever yarn you want. So I just need to go through and pick out some yarn, but I also need to get some things off my needles, so that's one that I can do. But I already have, I have the tessellated vest on my needles, so that's another Andrea Mowry pattern. But I just really, like, I've been watching her vlogs, and I'm like, oh, she's so cute. And she's really knowledgeable and just, like, I don't know, there's something about her. It's like Martha Stewart or something about just how she is. So, you know, I've been obsessed with her the last few days. I've been watching all of her vlogs and really looking closely at every pattern. I've never made an Andrea Mowry pattern until now. So the tessellated vest and is the first one. So yeah, and then I'll probably be able to cast on the traveler. Well, I'm torn on what to do because, as you know, I have a door of knitting projects. It's just the door where all my project bags live. And I think I started with 16 project bags on there or something like that. I don't know what it was, but I need to get it down to only 5 at the most. And so I'm torn on whether I just only knit those project bags, which are not whips yet. None of them are cast on. They just are things that I intended to knit that I stuck in project bags and stuck on the door. So I don't know if I should, like, give myself, like, say, okay, knit for every 2 that you knit off the project door, you get to cast on 1 project that is not from the project door. So like a new pattern, basically, using stash yarn, of course. yeah, so we'll see. Yeah. Can you hear this? My dog? Yeah. Obi is a Boston Terrier, so flat nose, and that's why he snores like he does. Let me tell you, if you are a light sleeper, you don't want to sleep with him because, I mean, it is so loud when he snores, and in the middle of the night, if you're not used to it, it will keep you up. So luckily I figured out the key for me is to get to sleep before he does. So I usually go to bed before my husband, and I try to at least pretend to be asleep before he comes in. When my husband comes in, he brings Obi in. And then, so first we have about 15 minutes of Obi building a nest in the middle of our bed while I'm laying there, my husband's laying there. And then once the snoring starts, if I'm not asleep or close to sleep, I'm not getting to sleep. So yeah, so he's a special dog, all right. We love you, Obi. So he's lonely. He's usually sitting on right by my husband, but since my husband's gone, he just wants to hang with me. So next Saturday is my second class at the Tangled Ball. That's where I'm knitting my tessellated vest, or where the class that I'm taking is for people knitting the tessellated vest or tessellated sweater. I'm doing the vest. I didn't really, like, I'm not gonna wait. You know, the instructor was like, just knit the waistband and then we'll go on from there. But I'm already pretty much done with the waistband. Well, very close on the waistband. So I think I'm just gonna continue on because I know how to do it. And then, you know, go from there, basically, when we get to class. So wherever I am, but I'm not worried about it. They seem to be really laid back there, and, you know, meet you wherever you are in your knitting. So yeah. The hardest thing about not buying yarn is going to a class like that, because, you know, I'm like, oh, I want to, you know, go look and see what kind of yarn they have, but I don't want to spend money, so I'm really trying not to, or I don't want to buy any yarn right now, so I'm really trying not to, like, look at the yarn when I'm here. So it worked last week, the first class, so we'll see if I can keep it up. The class goes right up until, I want to say it's like the weekend before my birthday, maybe. So yeah, like, you know, it's not that far off. So about 10 weeks. I can go that long. Hang on. I realized the problem I had with this when I was knitting, this is really long. This is like 100-inch cord. So yeah, the cord and then plus the needles. And it takes up, I mean, it could use an even longer cord because part of it is still curled up at the end. So, the problem I had with this when I had to rip it out, was it last week, I think it was that I got on this roll with knitting this and I wasn't looking, and I had twisted, like, it was like that, and I just kept on knitting, but it was on the very first row, so it wasn't really obvious. Like, I just kept knitting over it, like, you know, because it was only like the first, well, okay, it was the second row basically, and there was no fixing it unless I ripped it out. Unfortunately, I had about this much done, about that much, so I had to rip it out and start over. So, but yeah, what can you do? This was, you know, if it had been like some minor little problem in the middle of it, I probably would have overlooked it if I couldn't have figured out how to fix it without ripping it out. But because this is, you know, because it was right at the edge, and I don't know, just, I mean, it did not look good. Like if I had that same problem and I was halfway through the blanket, well, first of all, at that stage, I'd just probably give up and probably cry. But yeah, so I get, you know, I do a lot of knitting where I'm working, and I'm not looking at my knitting until like hours after I've knit it. You know, like I'll be knitting on like I'm doing right now, and I'll get like 5 rows done, and I look down and it's like, oh darn, I messed up, you know. And so yeah, that's the danger of that. But the nice thing is it rarely happens that I don't notice it. And it's rare, I mean, not that I'm an excellent knitter or anything, because God knows I'm not, but it's rare once I get in the rhythm that I will have issues like that. So I might, like every now and then I'll look down and be like, oh, I dropped a stitch, but it's like the stitch is right there so I can fix it, you know. So that's why I think I like patterns that are not to, like, where you can just do mindless knitting. Like, I want to be able to knit on it without looking at it, because I do so much of that. I mean, I'm able to work and do that. I'm able to vlog and do that. I mean, really, you know, I will do patterns where you do have to be paying attention, but they're not my favorite patterns. So yeah, like color work and, you know, brioche, things like that, I'm going to be paying attention to it. There's just no way around it. So sorry, my throat is kind of, I don't know, not scratchy, just kind of, yeah. What did I do this week? Oh, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, it was 2 days ago. It was Friday. I had gone in and gotten my Botox in my neck and my shoulders for I have cervical dystonia, so I get like 20 some shots of Botox for it every like 3 or 4 months. So I did that Friday morning, and then we came home at lunchtime and I took the rest of the day off, and I just sat and knit and did some things like filled out my passport renewal form. And that was like, I have it all ready to go. I do need to sign it. I can just send it in, like, you know, through the mail. I don't have to go in and meet anyone or whatever. Well, my husband's also is expiring and so we both got our passports with the passport card. In the US, you get a book and then you can pay a little extra and also get a card that looks like a driver's license. And I like having that because I actually use it quite a bit when I am traveling domestic, like in the US, because it just is more efficient. Like sometimes you put your driver's license through and they flag you or whatever. If you have a passport card, it's just much quicker. And yeah, so we both had them. Actually, my daughter had it too. My husband had his wallet. He lost his wallet years ago, like maybe like 6 months after we got these passports. So he just never reported that his passport card was in the wallet. And it's never been found, or, you know, no one's ever, well, that we know of, no one's out there traveling the world using my husband's passport card. But I thought he could just go ahead and do his paperwork online like I could and print it out and then mail it to the, you know, the department of whatever that does passports. And so I had him fill out the paperwork last night, and he was told online that because he hadn't reported the card stolen, he actually has to make an appointment and go in to the post office to meet with the passport people. So his passport may not get here in time. I shouldn't say that. It will get here in time. We have a trip planned in like mid-June. So that's when we need it by. It will get here. His appointment is February 6th. So it's supposed to only take like 2 months maximum to get your passport. My only fear in that is that last summer people were sending in their stuff to get passport renewals and new passports and all, and the government was so backed up with them that it was taking them like months and months, like a lot longer than 2 months. So, but I think we'll be okay. So, but he has to go in, and I can just mail mine and that in a check. It's so expensive to get your passport. Well, it's much worse if you're getting a new passport. If you're just getting a renewal, it's like $160. So not cheap, but not totally through the roof. So I think if you get like a new passport, it's like double that, I think. My daughter's, I thought we would have to pay for hers also to get her renewal. In my mind, I was like, oh, we all got our passports at the same time. But then I looked, and hers actually is still good for a few years. So by then, she's 23 right now. So, and a college student. So I'm like, oh, by the time it expires, maybe she'll like not be a college student. She'll have a good job, and she can just go pay for her own passport. Won't need mom telling her to get it renewed. So I'm paying for it. So it's too funny. So we do have a trip planned. I'll tell you what we're doing. My son is turning 40 in March, and he is my stepson. I'm old, but not quite that old. But he wanted to do a big trip, international trip. So he had invited all his friends, who's gonna rent this huge house in Greece to do like a big friends get together, and people were all on board. And then as it's gotten closer, they don't want to do it. And so we, along with my son and daughter-in-law and grandson, are going to Greece. It's now become a much, just a vacation, not a birthday celebration. So we're going, the 5 of us, my daughter's not going, but we're going to Greece and Turkey for sure, to Istanbul in Turkey. And then they are most definitely going to Amsterdam. We are on the fence, but I'm really pushing for Amsterdam for 2 reasons. One would be the obvious, Stephen and Penelope. And the other is the reason they're going to Amsterdam is that his wife and I both are Swifties. I bet you didn't know that about me. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. And we were talking about it. We're like, we should go see Taylor Swift in Europe or wherever she is this summer. And it was kind of a joke to start with, but then his wife went and looked it up and was like, she's playing in Amsterdam at the end of our trip. And at first I was like, yes, let's go. But then my husband pointed out a few things, but now he's he's trying to rearrange things so that we can go, and so that I can go to that concert also. So yes, I'm Swiftie. Yes, I'm going to pay a lot of money to go see Taylor Swift. Her tickets here were gone in minutes. So when she was here this summer, there was no, I mean, aside from the fact that they were outrageously expensive, they sold out like so quickly, and it just couldn't happen, basically. My daughter was able to see it though, because, or not it, she was able to see some of it because of her job last summer. That job is over, but she had a job where she was seeing all the big shows that came to town, and that was one of them. So, but I don't think she saw much of it, you know. But my daughter's not a Swiftie, so she'll get over it that mom's gonna go. We hoping, counting on it, but it might fall through. So we'll see. You know what I like about Taylor Swift? She just, well, aside from the fact that she really is a very talented songwriter, you know, performance aside, you take it all that away, like all the glitz and glamour. If you just gave her a guitar and sat her down and said, write a song for me, she would write a beautiful song for you. And she just, you know, like there are a lot of performers that are good, but maybe not at songwriting. And Taylor is good at it all, from what I can see. So, you know, she, in my generation, back in the day, the big star that, or the big performer that you'd compare Taylor Swift to was Madonna. Madonna was, she knew what she was doing. It was all marketing, and she did it really well. I don't know if Madonna was a good songwriter. She was a good performer. She is a good, well, okay, I'm gonna assume she's a good performer still. Yeah, but you know, it was when she first came out, she was really, you know, she did a lot of controversial things, but she knew how to get her name in the press, and she did a good job about it. Like, this was like way before the Kardashians, right? So, and all the social media stuff, but Madonna was like, you know, played the game really well. So, yeah, so that's, you know, Taylor is, I liked Madonna back in the day. I like Taylor this now, currently. So, I never liked football, but I always am like, so what's going on with Taylor's boyfriend and his team? You know, like right now I think they're playing, and I'm like, oh, I hope they win. I'm rooting for Taylor's boyfriend. So, I've never paid so much attention to football until this season. So, oh gosh. Hang on, gotta take a sip. The dog has calmed down a little bit. He's gotten off of my lap, but he's still on the little footstool right there. And he's sleeping with his eyes half open. He's always like, my son's always like, does that dog ever relax? It's like, nope. He's always on, so. Oh, anything else going on that I can tell you about? The sun's getting ready to go down, so I might have to turn on some lights here for you. Oh, my aloe plant. It's right there. It's huge. I'm not going to rotate you that way, but it's huge. I got it for like under $10 at Trader Joe's last winter, and it was one gigantic aloe plant surrounded by about 6 or 7 smaller ones, and it was less than $10. So I could not buy it. So I have it in this big pot, and it's kind of stuck in there now. I can't, like, well, I can, but it's not, it's so big it's hard to deal with, basically. But it got gnats. I guess the soil didn't dry enough after I watered it recently, and so I had these little flies all over the place. It was driving my husband and I crazy, because it was like, it's 4 degrees here and there's gnats. There's little tiny, they look like fruit flies, but I guess, I don't know, they might be fruit flies, but they are from that. So I finally figured out that it was coming from that. The other day, I Googled what to do. Basically, I just have to let the soil completely dry out before I give it water. So it's gonna be sitting there a while. But meanwhile, I had all these gnats flying around. So they tell you how to get rid of the ones that are currently there. I had to put a little thing of apple cider vinegar, which is a little dish soap, a little cup of it. And I put it right next on the shelf next to the plant. And I guess the sweet smell of the apple cider like goes out, and the gnats are attracted to it, and then they land in it, and the soap makes it hard for them, like they can't get out. They basically drown. So sorry, loud car. Yeah, so I did that this week, and it seems to be working. I got most of the gnats, definitely. Like, I looked in there this morning and to see, you know, like what was in the little bowl, what was on the flying around, and it was a lot of little drowned gnats, and there were still a few. So I just am leaving the gross stuff over there now, the vat of death, is I'm gonna call it. So it's just sitting over there. I'm on my second row with this color, so it's this, I hope you can see it. Do you see it? It's this kind of a rose color. Oh no, it's hard to show. Yeah, there it is. Yep. So I was dealing with that. I did a little surgery on my bonsai this afternoon. I have a bonsai tree. It's a little one. It sits on my, it's not super little. I've had it for like maybe 5 years now, and so it's grown quite a bit. But I had to do a little trimming of it. So I used to not be a plant person. In fact, it was so bad that my husband, whenever I'd be like, I'm gonna get this plant, he's like, don't you dare, you're gonna kill it. So, and then what changed it was actually that bonsai plant, which my son and his then girlfriend, now wife, bought for my birthday, this bonsai plant, and it's gorgeous. And it was real little, and then I even said, oh my God, like, I'm gonna kill that thing. And my daughter-in-law, I think they'd only really been dating December, January, February. They had only been dating like 5 months. And she, you know, like, we didn't really know her, but she, at the time, she's like, oh, you can do it. I know, you know, you kept a kid alive. You can keep a plant alive. And even my husband was like, nope. But that was like a challenge for me to keep it alive, and I kept it alive, and it's grown. I've repotted it. I really watch it closely, and yeah, so that was then gave me the confidence to try some other plants. I remembered I used to have this humongous, what was it? It was a cactus, but it was like a single thick, like like big straight cactus. And I got that when I was living, it was first job after college, and I'd moved away from Colorado to York, Pennsylvania. And I bought that because I was feeling really homesick, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this plant and it'll remind me of home and all that. Not that we have cactuses like that here, but you know, we do, like a couple states over. So one state over. So so I got it, and I kept it alive for the whole time I was living in Pennsylvania, which was only 2 years. But then I actually drove myself back from Pennsylvania when I got my job here in Denver, my first job here. I shouldn't say first job, it was my first job in my field, basically. So I came back with the plant strapped into the seat, the passenger seat of my little tiny Honda Civic. So, and I didn't have any air conditioning in that car, and I moved back in like June, and it was so hot I had to roll the windows down, driving down the highway with all the windows open to get that air going. But the cactus got some sunburn, and it burnt it, and so I had to cut that little part out. But I kept that plant for years, and then suddenly it died. And then that began the cycle of my killing every plant. So when I went after the bonsai tree, where they gave me the bonsai tree, I was like, okay, I'm ready for some other plants. I'm gonna try some other plants. So I got some cactus and some succulents, and they're all thriving. And then someone gave us a spider plant, and that's thriving, and it's all me. It's amazing. It's like suddenly I got a green thumb. And the most amazing thing is that my daughter-in-law, or not my daughter, I mean, not my daughter-in-law, but my daughter. So her boyfriend gave her a orchid. I don't know what it was, the reason was, but it was soon after they started dating, and it was, she put it in her bedroom, and I was like, that can't go there. Like, her room never sees sun. She does not open the blinds. So I told her, just put it out in the living room and you can take care of it. Well, of course she's not taking care of it. I'm taking care of it. It is like the first year had a bloom on it, and now this year, you know, the original bloom died and all, and then it hibernated, and now it has another, like, it's getting ready to, it's not gonna bloom just yet, but there's signs that it's gonna bloom again. So yeah, so yeah, and I've been taking care of that. So yeah, now I become the crazy plant lady, in addition to the crazy knitting lady and the crazy book lady and the crazy dog lady. So, okay, I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon. Well, actually, we're almost at an hour. I think we're okay on lighting for another 7 minutes. We're 53 minutes now, so I'll go in a few more minutes. But I was gonna have to either wrap it up or turn on a light, but I think we'll just finish up at an hour and we should be fine. So, oh, Karen at Recreational Knitting, she just told me, I was talking on my vlog that I posted yesterday about how I'm super sensitive to wool, and so superwash wool is, like, as much as I want to stop using it for the environmental reasons, superwash, I can deal with that. It doesn't have that itchy factor. So she told me of a new, not new, but a type of yarn of wool that I had never used, that is not non-superwash, and it's Targi, I believe, Targi, and she said it's super soft also. It's like BFL, which British something Leicester. I can't remember what the F. British some fine Leicester or something. I'm not gonna look it up and put it below because the whole point of these knit natters is I don't have to edit. So, but yeah, so she was saying that yarn is very soft and it's non-superwash. So maybe I will add that to my list of yarn to get when I hit my birthday. We'll see though. I may just say, okay, I only want like 2 skeins. You know, I may look at how much yarn I've used by then and how much I've brought in and say, you know, I'm not gonna get 5 or 6 skeins. I'm gonna get, you know, 1 or 2. So I'm definitely gonna get some, but I may not get the whole amount. So, and I'm saying I'm definitely want to get some is because I do have that Noro Ito in Casey's, my son's hat, and I need the yarn for those. So we'll see though. I hope my husband and daughter come home soon, only because I'm getting hungry. This morning I woke up and I really felt like, I feel like I want to cook. And I don't cook because I cooked until my daughter graduated from high school. I would have dinner waiting every night. Like, I was working, but I still was cooking dinner. And we had family dinner like 95% of the week. Like, it was rare that we didn't all sit down as family and eat. But as high school, you know, was going on and all that, she got more independent, and suddenly she was not really interested in eating anything that anyone cooked for her, whether it was me or whoever. She was eating like fast food and crap. So I just got tired of cooking. I was like, that's it, I'm done. And then when my husband retired 2 years ago, I think I was like, no, I'm really not cooking anything. Like, it's your turn. And I could do that because my husband's actually a really good cook. In fact, well, I don't want to say he's a better cook than me. I think we're both equally good, but we have very different style of cooking, and we like different things as far as recipes. Like I love a pasta recipe or a sheet pan bake, or and we both are total like cook from scratch people. So you know, there are certain things that I would always, I'm like, yeah, that's what we're having because I love making that, you know. But his things, like, he will cook things that I'm like, okay, well, you know, it was a good idea, but the execution, they'll be like, here's a kale bowl, honey. I made this bowl of some vegan something that's so off the wall that no one's gonna eat it, and he'll give it to me. Some of them though, like, are really good. So it just it depends on what it is. Of course, now it's easier for him because we are doing Green Chef deliveries for 3 dinners a week. So those are already made, and then, or not made, but you know, the recipe, the food, all that comes. So we don't have to come up with what we're gonna eat. But the things he is making now are more like, oh, it's like, this is really nice, it's really good. So, but there was a long time there where it was like, I'm just gonna cook because I don't want him giving me, you know, some bulgur wheat something or so I should have known when we first started dating. We got stuck in a snowstorm, and it's around the holidays, and like the roads are bad, and I can't remember, like it was bad enough that they closed school and stuff like this. It didn't matter to us because, you know, we knew we had to go to work anyways, but it was our day off, and we were both together. It was Monday, but we were like, well, we can't get to the grocery store because the roads were really bad. So, you know, what do you have to eat? And we were at his house, and he said, oh, I've got this great spaghetti sauce. And this was years ago, like more than 30 years ago. It's a whole nother story, and he pulls out this Tupperware container, and he's like, it's cauliflower spaghetti. It's out of this Moosewood cookbook, which is a vegetarian cookbook that he had. And it was like, we were so new at dating that I was like, oh, it's good. Yeah, like, you know, it was before, like, it was just like not the kind of vegetarian you get today, you know, so yeah. But I should have took that as a sign that he was going to try to get me to eat more things like, you know, cauliflower spaghetti and stuff. Now I would eat that, but back then it was like, so, okay, now that I've dissed my husband's cooking and we've hit an hour, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I will show you where I got to. So I got through 1.5 rows while I was knit and nattering with you. So I hope you can see that, how beautiful it is. Just as gorgeous. I love it. Actually, am I showing you the right side? I'm showing you the right side there. All right. I'm gonna let you go. We will have another knit and natter next month for sure, which is my birthday month. I hope everyone has a good rest of February. All right, keep knitting. Bye.